Okay, students. Okay, students, let us go to the class. Independent events. Two events are said to be independent if the happening of an event is not affected by the happening of the other event. For example, when we are tossing a single coin, we may get head or tail, but head and tail are independent events. Okay, happening of head does not affect happening of tail. Conditional probability, it is very important concept in the probability and statistics. Okay, suppose that capital B is an event. If B is any arbitrary event in a sample space and probability of capital B is greater than 0, the probability of capital A given B is defined by P of A given B is equal to probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. This is called conditional probability of capital A given B, and it is written as P of A given B. Okay, okay. Let us know the meaning of probability of A given B. We know that capital S is called sample space. Okay, suppose that capital S is a sample space and capital A and capital B are the events of capital S. We know that A is contained in A is subset of S and B is subset of S. But here in this case we will consider capital B as a sample space internally. Therefore, we have to find out the probability of capital A with respect to B. That is, we have to find out the probability for capital A considering capital B as a sample space. Okay, that is the probability of capital A with respect to B. Let us see by an example. Okay, suppose that there are two classes, one is 9th class, another one is 10th class. In the 9th class there are 4 girls and 3 boys. In the 10th class there are 2 girls and 4 boys. Okay, totally there are 13 candidates, 13 students. Among 13 students there are 3 plus 4, 7 boys, 4 plus 2, 6 girls, 7 plus 6 is equal to 13. Suppose that let us define capital A as the event of getting a boy and capital B is the event of 9th class. Capital C is the event of 10th class. Capital D is the event of getting girls. Okay. Now A is event of getting boys and B is event of 9th and C is the event of 10th. Okay. Now A given B is a new event. It is the event of getting a boy from 9th class. Okay. Here capital B is 9th class. Okay. We have to get boy from 9th class. That is, we have to select boy from 9th class, not from 10th class. It is the condition. Selecting a boy from 9th class only is the condition. Okay. Here we have to assume that capital B as a sample space. We have to consider capital B as a sample space. Okay. Similarly, A given C means the boy, the event of boy getting from C means 10th class. Okay, boy from 10th class. Therefore, A given B means boy from 9th class. A given C means boy from 10th class. Okay. Now, let us find out the probability for getting a boy from 9th class. Okay. Now, we have to consider this space as sample space. Actually, sample space is given by 9th and 10th class. Okay, but here we have to consider B as a sample space, 9th class as a sample space. In this B, there are 4 girls and 3 boys, but how to select a single boy? Number of exhaustive cases, number of total candidates, number of total students in the B is 4 plus 3, 7. Okay. Among these 7, only 3 are boys. To select a single boy, there are 3 possible vases. Therefore, number of favorable cases is equal to 3 by divided by number of exhaustive cases is 7. Therefore, 3 by 7. Probability of A given B is equal to 3 by 7. But let us try to find out the probability for capital A. P of A means capital S is a sample space. Probability of A with respect to sample space, that is P of A. But here P of A by B means probability of A with respect to sample space B. P of A means probability of capital A with respect to sample space. Here sample space is nothing but altogether 9th class and 10th class is a sample space. Capital S contains 13 elements. Therefore, number of exhaustive cases is equal to 13. Now, number of favorable cases. Number of favorable cases. Here we have to select a boy from 9th and 10th altogether. Since there are totally 3 plus 4, 7 boys, to select a single boy, there are 7 possible vases. Therefore, number of favorable cases is equal to 7. Number of exhaustive cases is equal to 13. Therefore, the probability is given by number of favorable cases by number of exhaustive cases, that is 7 by 13. Similarly, probability of A given C, that is probability for getting a boy from 10th class. Here 10th class is considered as a sample space. 10th class, that is C, is considered as a sample space. Okay. With respect to this sample space, clearly here you can notice that A is subset of C. A is an event of this sample space C. Okay. Therefore, there is no objection to find out P of A by C, A divided, A given C, because A is contained in C. Okay. Therefore, in this sample space, when we are considering this as a sample space, there are 4 boys. Therefore, 4 possible ways are there to select a single boy. Therefore, number of favorable cases is equal to 4. Number of exhaustive cases, total number of students is equal to 4 plus 2, 6. Therefore, 4 by 6, that is 2 by 3. Okay. Therefore, this is called as conditional probability, because here for example, if we consider P of A given B, means a student that we have to select must be from B means 9th class. After then, he must be a boy. Therefore, here what is the condition? To be 9th class, the student of 9th class. The student must be from 9th class, that is the condition. Okay. Here the student from the 10th class, that is the condition. Therefore, it is called as conditional probability. Okay. Now, how to find P of D given A and P of D given C? Okay. Find probability of D given A. Here D given A means capital A is considered as a sample space. We have to consider capital A as sample space. Capital D is nothing but D is event of getting a girl, but capital A is event of getting a boy. But here we can notice that D is not contained in capital A. If we consider capital A as a sample space, we notice that here D is not contained in capital A. Therefore, it is an impossible event. Okay. Since D is not subset of A, we can't consider capital A as a sample space where D is subset of A. Since D is not contained in A, it is impossible case. Therefore, P of this impossible case is equal to 0. Okay, therefore probability is 0. That is impossible event. Now, here we notice that D is clearly subset of C. Okay, C means 10th class. Okay, 10th class. D means GG. These two are the candidates in the event D. Therefore, number of favorable cases is equal to 2. To choose a single car, there are two possible ways. Therefore, number of favorable cases is equal to 2 divided by number of exhaustive cases. There are totally 6 students in the 10th class. Therefore, 2 by 6, that is 1 by 3. Okay. In this way, you can find out the probability for getting D given A and probability for getting D given C, where D is the event of getting a girl. Now, the formula for probability for A given B is equal to probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. But probability of A intersection B is nothing but number of favorable cases, number of elements in A intersection B and number of elements in S, number of exhaustive cases, that is N of A intersection B by N of S. Similarly, P of B, number of elements in the event B, that is number of favorable cases divided by number of elements in the sample space, that is number of exhaustive cases. Okay, here we have to cancel N of S and N of S, then the remaining function is N of A intersection B divided by N of S. Therefore, P of A given B can also be written as N of A intersection B divided by N of S. And also, this equality can also be written as P of A intersection B is equal to P of A given B into P of B. Okay. This is very important formula which will be useful in several applications. If A and B are independent events, then P of A intersection B is equal to P of A into P of B. Okay. Now let us go to elementary theorems. Here the theorem is if capital A and capital B are independent events, then A complement and B complement are also independent events. Okay. Here given that capital A and capital B are independent events. Therefore, P of A intersection B is equal to P of A dot P of B. By this condition, if A and B are independent events, we can write down P of intersection B as P of A into P of B. Okay. Now, we have to prove that A complement and B complement are also independent events. Let us consider P of A complement intersection B complement. Okay. By De Morgan laws, A complement intersection B complement can be written as P of A union B whole complement. Okay. By a formula, we can write down this as 1 minus P of A union B. What is the formula here? P of A complement is equal to 1 minus probability of A. Okay, this is the formula. Already we learnt. Okay, now by addition theorem we have P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Okay, multiply all these terms with minus. 1 minus P of A minus P of B minus plus P of A intersection B. Okay, now 1 minus P of A minus P of B. Since A and B are mutually independent events, we have P of A intersection B is equal to P of A dot P of B. P of A dot P of B. Okay, now one minus P of A. From these two terms, since P of P is common, let us take P of B as common. That is P of P into 1 minus P of A. Okay, now in this is a term, this is a term. Among these two terms, 1 minus PA is common term. 1 minus P of A into 1 minus P of B. Okay, now 1 minus P of A means P of A complement. Okay, into P of B complement. Therefore P of A complement intersection B complement. P of A complement dot P of B complement. Okay, what do you mean by this equation? Clearly we can observe that A complement and B complement are mutually exclusive event because it follow this rule: P of A intersection B is equal to P of A dot P of B. Okay, therefore A complement and B complement, therefore A complement and B complement are mutually that is, whenever A and B are independent events, A complement and B complement are also independent events. Next elementary problem: if capital A and capital B are independent events, then A and B complement are independent events. Okay, given capital A and capital B are independent events, therefore P of A intersection B is equal to P of A dot P of B. Now let us consider P of A intersection B complement. To show that A and B complement are independent event, we have to prove that P of A intersection B complement is equal to P of A dot P of B complement. Okay. Now, as for a note, we can write down this one as P of A minus, this is formula, P of A minus P of A intersection B. Okay. Actually, in previous class we have already proved it. Okay. Now, since A and B are mutually independent events, you can write down P of A intersection B as P of A dot P of B. That is P of A intersection B complement is equal to P of A minus P of A into P of B. Here P of A is common. Therefore, we have P of A into 1 minus P of B. Okay. That is P of A into P of, by a formula, 1 minus P of B means P of B complement. Therefore, probability of P of A intersection B complement is equal to P of A dot P of B complement. Therefore, clearly we observe that capital A and B complement are independent events. Okay. Now, prove yourself this theorem. If capital A, capital B, capital C are mutually independent events, then A union B and C are also independent events. Okay. Try yourself. Actually, you will consider here A, B, C are mutually independent events. Therefore, P of A intersection B is equal to P of A into P of B. P of B intersection C is equal to P of B into P of C, P of A, C, P of A, C, P of A into P of D. Similarly, P of A intersection B intersection C is equal to P of A dot P of B dot P of C. Okay, in this way we can use that results in this problem, and also we will consider the P of A union B. Okay, A union B, it is an event intersection C. In order to prove A union B and C are independent events, we have to show that P of A union B, we have to prove it actually P of A union B into P of C. Finally, we will prove it. Thereby, we prove it that A union B and C are mutually exclusive event. For it, we can write down this as P of by using distributive law, A union B intersection C. A intersection C, P of A intersection C union B intersection C. Okay, and this is an event, this is an event, there is union. Here you have to use addition theorem, Okay. After applying addition theorem, you will apply remaining formulas. Okay, in that way you can easily prove that A union B and C are independent events. Okay, try it.